अभी क्या करूं? डन बोलूं? डन। हाँ, तो आई केम हियर। इधर लाइव लाइव दिखा रहा है? भगवान ही जान।
नहीं दिखा रहा है, यहाँ मेरे तो दिखा रहा है।
आपको दिखा रहे हैं
जी
लाइव?
जी।
ऐसे इसमें नहीं दिखा रहे हैं आईपैड?
यहाँ दिख रहा है, वी कैन सी इट।
We can
ओके,
see all. We are all five here.
ऑल आर गुड.
Yes, all are good.
Okay, so let's start. Okay. So today what we'll do is we don't have, Shruti Smriti, so I'll do it from memory. Okay. Prayers. Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Padam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutrabhashikruto Vande Bhagavanto Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavadhyaptadehaaya Dakshinamurthe Namaha. Just let me increase my fan and come. Today the scratching is starting. पीछे का फैन भी डाल देंगे. Okay. Now what we do is we will come. Om Dayanandeshwaraya Namaha. We'll come to today's verse. I mean, जो verse पे हम हैं अभी.
No,
which
number. It is
seven,
number 7.
yeah, seventh verse is on which page? Let us find out. ये भगवान uparati. I found it.
But we have to start
Yes.
from
Page
page.
number 83. No, we have to recite the verse. No?
Achha.
Protocol. So that's page 83.
Yes, number 7.
Yeah,
Yes.
verse number 7. विषये व्यपरावृत्तिः परमो परतिर्हि सा
विषये प्रवृत्ति परमो परतिर्हर्षः
सहनं सर्वदुःखानां तितिक्षा सा शुभा मता.
सहनम सर्वदुःखानां प्रतीक्षसा शुभमता.
यस. तो अभी हमारे स्वामी जी ने लास्ट टाइम बहुत कुछ बोला अबाउट उपरति. हाँ. And so I will take from, I'm looking at page 92, where he says the nature of Atma is happiness. So this confuses us, very often. How can you say nature of Atma is happiness? I'm not feeling happy at all. That is because we confuse Atma's nature with mind. If the mind is not feeling happy, then we are identified with our mind and we say, I am not happy. But Atma is completely independent of the mind. And Atma is boundless, limitless. Okay? In whom there is no kind of limit at all. When is there sadness? Sadness is there when there is some kind of limit. No? If there is some kind of, when we say limit, if there is some kind of boundary, there is some kind of limit, then we feel that sadness of that limit. कि बस हम ये नहीं कर सकते, हम ये नहीं कर पाएंगे, हम उधर जा नहीं पाएंगे. इस तरह से जब लिमिट होती है तो हमारे अंदर we don't like it, because our natural nature is limitless. So Atma is the consciousness which has got no boundary at all. Just think of it, no boundary. Supposing you say, I am so and so. Then when you say I am so and so, that so and so has got a boundary, no? For example, if Sony uncle says I am a, okay, we take Dr. Bhatia because I'm not sure about Sony uncle. Dr. Bhatia says I am a doctor. Okay? Then we can ask him, you are a doctor of what? You are a doctor in physics, you are a doctor in history, you are a doctor in geology, you are doctorate where? Already the limit has come. I am a doctor of, and then the limit has come. So anything where we define ourselves by, if you define yourself by anything, there is limit there. Because it is not anything else. It can only be this, it cannot be anything else. And look at that. Anything which you are able to define is something which you have objectified. And when you have objectified, by your very fact that you have objectified it, there is a limit there. So we are operating in Vyavahara only in the realm of limit, and Shastra is pointing out that Atma is consciousness that has no limit. Absolutely no limit. Nowhere there is limit. Neither in space there is limit, nor in time there is limit, nor in being any kind of object there is limit. It is limitless. That's why we say it is Purna. And so जिसमें लिमिट ही नहीं है, कोई तरह की लिमिटेशन नहीं है, उसमें कहां से दुख होगा? There is no dukkha. Okay? If there is no dukkha, then it is only of the nature of anantata, vastness, spaciousness. Puja Swamiji would not like to call it bliss and all that. But let us assume that we can call it as where there is no dukkha, there is sukha. It is sukha swarupa. So Atma is happiness. Its nature is happiness, intrinsically happy. Nirnaimitika sukha. Okay? We saw all this last time. Rajas and Tamas, they obscure. Rajas and Tamas are qualities of the mind. Can they really obscure Atma? They cannot. Nothing can obscure Atma. Atma is there, self-shining, illuminating the Rajas and Tamas. Rajas and Tamas can obscure the nature of Atma from me, the identified person. But it cannot obscure Atma. Right? It cannot obscure Atma because it's the nature of. It is just the illuminator, that which illumines everything. It is self-revealing and self-effulgent. Nothing can obscure it. Then let's look at this. Then Swamiji came to titiksha. This is a very, very important value in life. Healthy endurance, page 94. So he talked about developing a non-retaliating mind. So he's taken a specific case where we may be faced with some kind of a pain. And he's pointing out that whatever pain we are suffering in our life is coming from our prarabdha karma. So we cannot really blame anybody. We cannot blame anything at all. Yeah, it is my own karma which is creating the situation. And we need not feel guilty about it either. I like that. We do not feel guilty about it either. Okay. So it's a big shock absorber, this understanding of prarabdha karma. It can absorb the shock for us. And then Swamiji says, I simply need to submit my will to the will of Ishvara. Easier said than done. Okay? Because whatever Ishvara thinks is right. So that demands a great deal of Shraddha. Tremendous amount of Shraddha that Ishvara is right. Okay. Then some very beautiful portions are there in this portion. Everything is grace. This is not make-believe, it is a reality. In page 95, it is Ishvara alone who does everything. Yeah. There again we come to seeing Ishvara as the Purna Purusha. Ishvara is Purna. Because Ishvara is Purna, Ishvara doesn't take sides. Ishvara is not kind to somebody and nasty to somebody, doesn't favor anybody. Ishvara is Purna, doesn't hold any grudges. Therefore, Ishvara is also what? If you look at it from the side of the Jiva, Ishvara is the one who is Sukrit. Suhrut means one who is ever my well-wisher, always my well-wisher. Then Swamiji says a tough line, If that is our trust in Ishvara, okay, that Ishvara only showers grace and nothing else, then if there is pain in my life, that pain is also grace. Okay. Big amount of Shraddha, okay? Pain is also grace. Really, this is Mahatma quality. Okay? If pain is good for me, then I will accept that judgment of Ishvara. Okay? All this is coming from Ishvara. So then he says, endurance is not accomplished simply by will. It is gained by understanding and resolution of the issue. So important, It's not that I say, no, Ishvara is the one, and therefore, by will I will accept. No, I accept. Not like that. We have to use our understanding to assimilate this wisdom which is given here. That, yeah, it is okay. It's coming from Ishvara, who is Sarvagnya. And that Sarvagnya being Sarvagnya, there is no mistake there. Iti. So it must be my prarabdha karma. Iti. If I endure simply by force of will, then the pain, hurt, and resentment are likely to remain within me. And it will explode one day. Yeah, also very, very important. So Swamiji talks about, in a way, today I wrote about self-introspection. So I'm seeing it from this eyes of self-introspection, where he says, every experience should be closed, leaving no trace of resentment, anger, and jealousy, or even self-congratulation. Meaning, on a daily level, if not daily, okay, as often as we need to do it, we ourselves are honest and courageous with ourselves so that we face, certain difficult aspects of our personality, and we are able to close that situation. I'll tell you, recently I had a very interesting situation where I really lost my temper, because I was the old, not Swamini, Mallika, when I got really, really angry. What happened is the driver, I had spoken to him at 1 o'clock. He only called me that should I come? I said, yeah, you come today. But please come by 3:15 because I want to go to the computer shop and leave my computer there. And then we'll go to the physiotherapist. My physiotherapist appointment is at 4 o'clock. Computer shop is on the way. All I have to do is go and deposit it there and then we can go. Last time we had done it like that, we reached 10 minutes early. This chap lands up at 10 to 4. And then he tells me, isme petrol nahi hai. The day before we had traveled, he has not told me that isme petrol, we have to take petrol. 10 minutes before, this is Kalidas Road. It takes me at least half an hour to 40 minutes to, at least half an hour to reach there. So I really lost it, because if I become late for my appointment, that physiotherapist has got a lineup of people who have got appointments. So he will give me very little time, which is what happened that day. I got 15 minutes from him. Plus, then I have to wait in the computer shop. So it was very, very annoying, because this was a pile up, because he's always late. But then I felt very bad afterwards. I came back, self-introspection किया. तो मैंने सोचा मैंने इतना गुस्सा क्यों था? मैंने उसको बोल भी दिया, ज्यादा ही बोल दिया. So फिर ये है self-introspection. I wanted to close that incident, So I came back, I looked at myself, why was I so angry, etc., etc. I processed it and let it go. It's over. So this is where, every experience should be closed, leaving no trace of resentment, anger, whatever, etc., etc. Because these are all reactions, and for that much time, your mind is agitated, not worth it. We like peace, yeah. So we settle and make peace with ourselves. So right attitude is extremely important. Okay. Then he said we cannot make conclusions about Ishvara. Yeah. So he made a very important point. That's why I'm repeating all this, because some of this is so useful in our lives, that our basis for Shraddha is Vedas. Because we take Veda as the Pramana. Therefore, when Veda says that Ishvara is Sarvagnya, yeah, then we start off with Shraddha. That yes, Ishvara is Sarvagnya. Okay, and he knows everything in detail. He knows everything in general and he knows everything in detail. Therefore, he knows all my prarabdha and he knows what has gone before. Iti, and there is this huge network of law available. Okay? And Ishvara is in keeping with that law. Okay. So Shami talks about Shraddha and then two levels of pain, physical and emotional. Okay. Again, he repeats, he must be thinking it's very important because nobody gets it. Eh? All pain and sorrow is basically caused by our own karma, for which the external world consisting of people and situations is only instrumental. This was very useful when I was processing it. That maybe this was an experience for me to understand that I still have, remnants of anger, which I need to look at and I need to work with. So Ishvara, this Kushal's thing, he was only an instrument. Eh? For me to see that there was something for me to learn from that situation. Okay. Okay. Sahanam means putting up with discomfort. Okay. So on page 98, when that response, that was the last sentence perhaps that we did. When that response is patience, endurance, and putting up with things, and I give a small note that cannot be changed. Okay, putting up with things that cannot be changed. That is what the author calls as titiksha. Now, today's portion, I will be making some comments. The Tikakara says that Sahana is Pratikara Anicca, absence of the desire to retaliate in the face of sorrow or pain. Pratikara Anicca, the one who doesn't have desire to retaliate in any way. Real titiksha means even the desire for retaliation does not arise. Then Swamiji takes a few examples which I am not personally approving of. Okay. Because he will say, when it is a little cold, I wrap up, as though that's a retaliation. So the word titiksha, we use titiksha for things that we cannot change, unpleasant situations that we cannot change. If we can change it, Bhagwan has given us the free will, Bhagwan has given us the choice, we can change it. We are feeling cold, then please wrap up. We will not call that as lack of titiksha. Yeah? If you can't change it, supposing you're in a place where you cannot, and you don't have your warm clothes with you, and it's become very cold, then you will endure it. But supposing you are in your own house, it's very cold, and all your sweaters are lying there or blanket is there, then you put the blanket. So Swamiji says, when it is cold, I wrap up. If it's a little hot, I turn on a fan. If it's a little hunger, I put something in my mouth. So I don't accept these as examples of retaliation. But this next one is very good. You insult me with one word, I say two words. We always want to settle accounts and it becomes endless. Lord Krishna says, Prasade sarva dukkhana hanihi asya upajayate. For that person who has this tranquility, okay, who is in tranquility, sarva dukkhanam, all sorrow, the destruction of all sorrow, upajayate, happens. So asya here is of him, but it can take off for him. For him who has tranquility, the destruction of all sorrow takes place. Hani rasyupa jayate. Meaning the mind, when it becomes prasanna, it becomes cheerful and tranquil, then there is cessation of all sorrow. When even the external situation has not changed, it may keep on pushing buttons, but when the mind enjoys tranquility, there is nothing inside to be provoked. I know a yogi in Dehradun, very wonderful human being, wonderful person. I consider him a jnani also, but not going through our parampara. Okay, these are the meditators, the people who go into samadhi. Now, he says for him, life is very simple. Life is only perception. External situation can be anything. It can be favorable, unfavorable, pleasant, unpleasant, whatever it is. It is just perception for him. He is not now evaluating it in terms of himself, that this is favorable to me, it is unfavorable to me, it is, pleasant for me, it is unpleasant for me. It is just a happening. It is something happening. Some perception is taking place. His eyes are seeing, his ears are hearing, his nose is smelling. It is all perception. But there is no evaluation of that data coming in terms of, is this harmful to me or is it, favorable to me? That kind of perception is not there, because there is a very clear recognition that I am the consciousness which is Purna, and therefore nothing harms me and nothing improves me. That clarity is there, And the route has been a different route for him. The route has been only meditation, Pakka, staying in meditation. Okay? For long hours was his practice. Okay. So Swamiji says the external situation may not change. It may keep on pushing buttons. But when the mind enjoys tranquility, there is nothing inside to be provoked. Usually when these buttons get pushed, something will happen. Page 98, last paragraph. Usually when these buttons get pushed, something will happen. It's like pushing a button to start a fan rotating. Once a button is pushed, anger comes. Don't I know that? Another button and greed or jealousy comes, and so on. But if you have worked with those impulses and taken care of them by cultivating the right values and attitudes, nothing remains inside to be provoked. It is like removing the wiring from behind those buttons. How beautiful, no? It's like removing the wiring from behind those buttons. Someone keeps pushing the button, but there is no reaction because there is no wiring. Very beautiful. So Swamiji says now, vasanas or ragadveshas are the wiring for our buttons. You can call them vasanas or ragadveshas. They are the potential, the wiring through which the external situation can push those buttons and provoke. While there is still potential for anger, jealousy, and impulse within me, and an external situation pushes the buttons, I have to put up with all the pain. Sahanam means endurance or patience, and enduring all the pain is the definition of titiksha. Okay, I will again modify it. Enduring the pain which you cannot have any influence over. Yeah. Sahanam is becoming free from this tendency to settle accounts. Just because a dog barks at you, it doesn't mean that you have to bark at the dog. We don't do this with a dog because we know that it is a dog. But our main problem is with human beings. Even heat and cold or hunger and thirst we can deal with. But developing endurance with other human beings is very tough because there is an expectation. I don't have expectations about nature because I know I can't control it. And therefore, I have to live with it. But with human beings, particularly ones related to me, I have a problem. The closer the person, the greater the expectations, and the greater the disappointments, and the greater the reactions. Puja Swamiji would say, we give the benefit to a mad person on a street corner that we do not give to our close friend. If some mad fellow standing on a street corner says things to me, I dismiss it because he clearly doesn't know what he's saying. But if it is a friend of mine says 1/10 of that, I blow up. I give the benefit to dogs and cats and even to mosquitoes because I know that is how they are. It may be irritating, but I know what to expect from mosquitoes and flies. So I'm able to retain a reasonable composure as far as these things are concerned. I have accepted them as they are, and there is no retaliation. When the dog barks, the desire to retaliate generally does not come in my mind. Okay? You know, Mrs. Singh के घर के neighbor जो है ना, उनके पास 12 dogs हैं, 12 कुत्ता, and they bark the whole night, one after the other. And even if someone comes into her house, they'll all stand on the parapet like that. और भौंकते भौंकते रहते हैं. जब मैं उनके घर में रहती थी ना, मुझे तो रिटेलिएशन की बुद्धि आती थी कि I wanted to just say, I'm trying to sleep, just, shut up. So when the dog barks, the desire to retaliate generally does not come in my mind. It comes when I have gracefully accepted what is. The tendency to retaliate does not arise. Okay? So, a big question as sadhakas for us, is when our expectation is not fulfilled, how can we respond? Whether it's a close, if it's not so, the person is not so close, it doesn't matter. But when the person is close and our expectation is not fulfilled, okay, then normally the response will be what? As a normal human being, you have to unmute, Matya.
Anger?
Yeah. And behind the anger, what is there?
Frustration.
Frustration. And behind the frustration, sometimes they can also be hurt. Yeah. So anger sometimes we say is an expression of hurt. Frustration, you're correct. Yeah. So when our expectation is not fulfilled, okay, the maid. We take a normal example, कि हमारे घरों में जो मेड्स आते हैं, उनको आना है और वो आ नहीं रहे और आपको बताया भी नहीं कि हम नहीं आने वाले. तो what will be the response? We will be angry. आते ही उसको फायर करो? नहीं. अभी हम क्या करेंगे? अभी इतना सब सत्संग करने के बाद
अभी हम उसको फायर नहीं करेंगे. We'll inquire what happened. कुछ तकलीफ हो गया? Are you all right? ऐसे बात करके फिर कुछ बोलो. हमें चिंता हो गई कि तुम नहीं आई, तो चिंता हुई.
हाँ.
Are you okay?
हाँ. Supposing she says I'm okay.
No, but in spite,
क्या हुआ कि नहीं, मुझे वो गोलगप्पा खाने की मन हो गई है और फिर मैं मेरी फ्रेंड्स के साथ बाहर चली गई.
हाँ, तो हम खाली फोन करके इन्फॉर्म करो तुम कितना लेट आ रही हो.
बताना चाहिए. तो अभी मैंने कुशाल के साथ क्या अपनाया है, मैंने कुशाल मुझे भी रिजॉल्व करना था ना कि हाउ टू बिकम इन कंट्रोल ऑफ द सिचुएशन. तो मैंने कुशाल को बोला है कि देखो जी, मुझे ये पसंद नहीं है, और क्या होता है मैं देर हो जाती हूँ बहुत, और फिर मुझे प्रॉब्लम आती है। तो मैं ऐसे करूंगी, मैं 10 मिनट लेट आप आ सकते हैं, 10 मिनट से ज्यादा 1 मिनट भी लेट हुआ तो मैं टैक्सी लेके चली। दिस इज व्हाट आई डिड यस्टरडे, एक्चुअली आई टुक अ टैक्सी।
So then, no, what is this?
It has
No, what is the solution for all that?
Solution is that only you find a solution. Supposing you have a person who is a repeating offender, the person repeatedly does the same thing, is not able to change their habit, repeat
no,
that,
it's not.
and you are
It's not.
dependent on that person to achieve your goal, whatever your goal is. Okay? Then what can you
No,
do? You have to find some other solution. So my solution was I better take some other transport. So I can't keep waiting for him and losing my time. So I will take another transport, even if it costs me more. Huh?
No, I find it is a daily feature in many houses.
Yeah,
That this is a chain reaction because
Yeah.
your whole program is upset.
Absolutely.
Because you are given a time for
Yeah.
a breakfast, and your breakfast is late, then your further things are late, then other maid is coming.
Yeah.
I find it is very difficult.
It is tough. Yeah, it is very tough. Because the thing is, we have become dependent on them. No?
that's
So
true.
one
That's
option can be, nowadays you don't get them easily also. We can't even change them. Right? So you change, find somebody else. Bolo ki now this has gone on for too long. Chalo, tata, bye bye. Huh?
but
No,
you know with the
but that is very worst. If you change, it is like that.
From fire.
You divorce a person, you find earlier was better actually.
Actually, no, it really happened. Really happened to somebody. Oh, this guy in my father's office, he divorced one lady, and then he was very happy. He got married again. My God, from the what is it? From the frying pan to the fire. Eh? The second one became so difficult. She would go to the office and she would stand there and start shouting away, shouting away, shouting away. Poor fellow. Ooh, very tough. So from frying pan to fire.
Guru Maji, again I will.
Sarva Dukkhanam. So that's why Shankaracharya is saying, इस तरह के दुख को आपको सहन करना पड़ेगा. जब कोई solution नहीं मिल रहा है, तो आपको सहन करना पड़ेगा, retaining your tranquility without getting overboard. You take it as if Bhagwan has given a lesson in tranquility to me. Bhagwan has sent this person in my life so that I will learn Sahanam Sarva Dukkhanam.
So it is a part of Prarabdha.
Part of Prarabdha.
Hey, one more question. What you said about the driver coming late and all that, that is also this happens, but not now very much, but when we were in service. If you allow that, does it not, actually
Don't allow it.
does it not increase the indiscipline? But
Absolutely.
So then it becomes difficult. In the service, it becomes difficult. You have to take an action.
Yeah. So my action was yesterday, I didn't call him. He knows that I have to go for physiotherapy, but I didn't call him. I just took a taxi. There was a girl who was coming from the same area. I came back with her. So today he called and he said, Mataji, you have to go today. What happened and all? I'm so sorry, I said, no, actually, I'm feeling sorry with myself that why I lost my temper like that. It was not required. But still, the fact remains that if you are going to be more than 10 minutes late, then I will take my own decision because I have to reach my place. So I will take some other vehicle and go. So now that is our agreement now between both of us. It's an agreement. If you are more than 10 minutes late, I can do what I want. I'm not obliged to take you, Iti. So my temporary solution, I am not sure this is going to work. My temporary solution is this. So I'm not going to call him for short distance things, Like if I have to go for my physiotherapist, I'll go on my own. I've learned now that I can go by auto also, no problem. So it's not very different in cost, keeping the driver or taking the auto away. So for the time being, I've solved my solution like this. We'll see how long it works. Sahanam Sarva Dukkhanam. Okay. So Sahana is becoming free, and we saw all that. Yeah. Then Swamiji says this is called Prasada Buddhi, page 100. This is called Prasada Buddhi, graceful acceptance of what I cannot change or control. If you are able to change the environment and make it more comfortable, you can do that. Yet there is a limit to what you can change. So Prasada Buddhi is necessary in life. This Prasada Buddhi enables me to become free from all sorrow, because sorrow arises from reaction. Then Swamiji comes to this nice topic, bringing Ishvara into one's life. What, uncle?
Bringing Ishvara into one's life. We have to bring Ishvara into our life and see that the one who is causing pain is merely an instrument. This may be called either Prarabdha or Ishvara. Ishvara is doing all this maybe as a result of my karma, but the one who does things is definitely Ishvara. Ishvara has created success, failure, honor, dishonor, censure, praise, and so on. What can we do with Ishvara? You can fight with Ishvara if you want, but Ishvara would say, wait a minute, see all your karmas, that is to blame.
Yeah.
So ईश्वर को अगर हम ले आए
हाँ,
तो हमारा रिएक्शन बहुत कम हो जाएगा,
बहुत कम हो जाएगा। हाँ?
बहुत कम हो जाएगा
जब हमें ईश्वर पे श्रद्धा है।
हाँ, श्रद्धा होनी चाहिए, प्रसाद बुद्धि होनी चाहिए।
ईश्वर पे पूरी श्रद्धा है कि वो हमारे हितैषी हैं, और जो भी हुआ है हमारे भले के लिए हुआ है। In some form or the other, it will result, if nothing else, in some growth if I take it that way.
That's right. Bringing in Ishvara releases everything, because Ishvara, being who he is always compassionate and good. If Ishvara gives us pain, it is always for some reason. It is for me to grow, and growth usually takes place only when there is pain. No pain, no gain.
Yeah, this I don't completely accept, some things of Swamiji, sometimes I don't agree. No? You can grow, it is so nice if you can grow when there is no pain also. But of course, when there is pain, the option is only to grow, because otherwise there's more pain.
Ishvara therefore wants me to grow up by giving me difficulties, hardships, etc. Like a sculptor molds a stone to bring out a beautiful form, Ishvara seems to be committed to molding me. If I cooperate, it is good for me. Imagine the stone not cooperating with his sculptor. It would be broken instead of made into a beautiful form. Sahana is therefore not merely putting up with the pain, but doing so with maturity and understanding. Then there is no reaction and I grow. Simply tolerating pain is not titiksha, because there would be a resentment in the mind which leaves hurt. This means vasanas are still there and someday they will burst out. We can avoid the creation of new vasanas or tendencies by neutralizing them then and there through grateful acceptance.
Yes.
Very,
very beautiful, eh?
Very beautiful.
The importance of acceptance. It's a very, very tough thing in life. Acceptance, because there is natural resistance, because we all want what we assume is our well-being. So anything which we see is not conducive to our well-being, the way we understand it, then there is resistance, there will be resistance. So this is very beautiful, where we have that Shraddha in Ishvara. Very important. Without that, none of this will work. Okay? And so, firstly, an understanding of Ishvara, Shraddha in that understanding, Shraddha, developing that Shraddha, and then there can be this full acceptance. Okay. And now it is Anita's turn.
response to pain. Dukkha, pain, hardship, discomfort at a physical, emotional, or mental level is a reality of life. Sometimes people don't agree with our ideas or thoughts or beliefs, and we get upset because we are so committed and identified with ourselves, our ideas. When someone dismisses my opinion, I feel dismissed.
Hmm.
There are millions of causes for us to become sad, even though we have tried to remove those causes internally. External provocations are still there. The way to shield ourselves from all of these is by this attitude of titiksha, patience and endurance and prasad buddhi. Viveka Chudamani says in its definition of titiksha that at whatever level pain comes, there is
Pratikriya.
apratikar, apratikar,
Purvakatva. Purvakatva.
purvakatva. No
Apratika,
external
apratikara purvakatva.
yes. No external retaliation and chinta vilap rahitya.
Rahitya.
No internal
Okay, but just let me
lament.
give you an idea. Whenever there is
Yes.
a line on top, in the English part, chinta. So there is on top of the A, there is a line on top. So it will become chinta. It becomes that long thing. Ah. Hmm? Then
Yes, yes.
vilap.
Vilapa.
And then
And then
rahitya.
rahitya.
जहां भी वो लाइन
Rahitya.
हो गया, then
हाँ
उसको
जी.
elongate कर.
जी. No internal lamentation.
Yeah.
Sometimes we do not retaliate externally, but internally there is vilapa, lamentation about all the things that have happened in the past, and chinta, worry about what will happen in the future. Even our pain and suffering is accompanied with complaining or lamenting about what happened in the past or anxiety about what may happen in future. We have retaliation in the present, lamentation about the past, and anxiety for the future.
Yeah.
In this way, pain or suffering occupies the whole of our being. That being so, one of our values must be to slowly raise our endurance limit.
Yeah, we call it
बढ़ाना
raise the
सहने का
window of tolerance.
tolerance
Raise the window of tolerance.
को बढ़ाना. We have now covered Shama, Dama, Uparati, Titiksha. The last two values, Shraddha and Samadhana are defined in the next verse. I think now we have a new word.
Yeah, we'll
Yes.
just do the meaning of that verse, then we can stop. Verse 8. Okay?
Yes.
Nigamacharya vakyeshu
Nigmacharya vakyeshu
bhakti shraddhati vishruta.
Bhakti
bhakti shraddheti
Vishruta.
Correct. Shraddheti vishruta. Shraddha iti vishruta. Therefore, Shraddheti vishruta. Chittaikagryam tu sallakshye
Chittayakagrayam
tu sallakshye
samadhanam iti smritam.
Samadhanam
samadhanam iti smritam.
I'll read it. Nigamacharya vakyeshu bhakti shraddheti vishruta chittaikagryam tu sallakshye samadhanam iti smritam. So breaking up all the words, Nigama Acharya Vakyeshu. With reference to the words of the Acharya, the teacher, and Nigama, the scriptures. Bhakti, we know, is devotion. Shraddha is trust. iti vishruta, iti thus vishruta, heard, has been heard. Chittaikagryam, single pointedness of the mind. Two, however, tat lakshye, Brahman is the target. Samadhanam, concentration. He, thus smritam, is known. So bhakti or devotion for the words of the teacher and the scriptures is called as Shraddha. Defining Shraddha. Okay. This is what is heard from the voice. Vishruta. Single pointedness of the mind. Chittaikagriyam. With Brahman as the target. Sallakshye. Sat lakshye. Okay. Sat lakshye became Sallakshye. Because la is sitting over there, that became into the ta became into a la. It is Sat lakshye. So that Sat lakshye means with Brahman. Brahman is the target. Okay, lakshye is known as samadhanam, concentration. So devotion towards the words of the teacher and the scriptures is Shraddha, and single pointedness of the mind, which has a target in Brahman, is called as samadhan. So we can be having single pointedness of mind with anything, no? But here been very clearly said single pointedness of mind with reference to Brahman. This all very beautiful section is coming up, about what is Pramanam. So that maybe we can see next time. Yeah. Let me see what the time is. Yeah, 5:46.
Yes, we can take it next time, right?
Time for tea.
Right.
Om. 1 minute.
Swasti Prajabhya.
Yeah. Om Swasti Prajabhya Paripalayantam Nyayena Margena Mahim Mahisha Go Brahmanebhya Shubhamastu Nityam Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Kale Varshatu Parjanyaha Prithvi Sasya Shalini Desho Yam Shoparahitaha Brahmana Santu Nirbhayaha Om Sarvesham Swastir Sarvesham Shantir Sarvesham Purnam Sarvesham Mangalam Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha Sarve Santu Niramayaha Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Akaschit Dukkha Bhagave Asatu Ma Satgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hare Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hare Om. Okay.
Oh, no, Narayana, everyone.
सोनी साहब मिसेस सोनी कहाँ ठीक है ना?
है जी